So welcome everybody to the Laser Sports Academy. I'm Bootza and I'm here today with Xylitol from GP, who's tuning in from the Finnish Nationals of 2022. Welcome along, Xylitol.
Thank you. Excited to be here and nice to have a chat with you, Bootza. I think we also have a quite long history together. So we know each other from, I think, 2009. So nice to be interviewed here.
Yeah, we've got a long history going back to that event and also the Worlds event since then. You're a big handful in the arena. I love playing against you, so I look forward to hearing about what insight you can provide for the Finnish Nationals this year, where we've, as you know, we've just started the Laser Sports Academy channel, and part of our goal is to really, connect all the scenes all around the world as best as we can. And it was perfect timing with you guys having your nationals this weekend that we thought we'd tune in and find out a little bit about the Finnish Nationals, because particularly some of the international players don't know that much about the Finnish Nationals, and they probably don't know that it's actually probably one of the premier tournaments in the world. It's a very difficult tournament. There's a lot of amazing top level players in Finland. So yeah, tell us, how is firstly, it's in a place called Seinäjoki. Have I pronounced that correctly?
Quite well, Seinäjoki, yes.
Seinäjoki, yeah. So, how is the tournament going so far? Because you've just finished the Cascade 1 stage, haven't you?
Yeah, that's correct. And we're continuing today with Cascades 2. So we're playing both the sets today. So we have, I think, 14 teams. So it means only 6 games per cascade per team. So we have time to finish both, and we're currently having a break in between. But first of all, well, this is a smaller city, town in the middle of Finland. I personally kind of, I knew that the arena in here is a bit special from my teammates. Hacker has been playing here a couple of kind of members nights or all-nighters, and I kind of thought it's even more special, but I like the arena. It plays out quite well, and it teaches you something new. And I think what makes it so special is that when you look at the map, it looks like a conventional arena with pretty good wall setting and stuff, but the distances are really long between the walls that we are used to compared to what we are used to in Europe. So, for example, with my play style, I like to kind of adjust my movement with this micro angling, micro connections. So here I have to kind of make a lot of pre-choices about do I really commit towards the next wall or not? So the choices are different, the gameplay is a bit different, but I like the challenge.
Great. That's one of the beauties of the sport, isn't it? Is that you have to adjust everywhere you go. There's some kind of adjustment to the play style that's required.
Especially and kind of we got a really good feeling. It was difficult in the beginning. Obviously, Niku did really well. He won the solos, pretty confident right from the start. But for some of us, me and Hacker, for example, we struggled heavily with the solos, and it felt horrible on the day one. Horrible. I was a bit ashamed of my performance. I knew I wasn't having a good morning. Same as you, I also have kind of family commitments now and stuff like that. So really tired, and it went horribly. But straight from the day 2, we've been improving, and feels confident now, and definitely feels like we have learned new strengths.
And Nico, with his big long arms, probably was able to manage the gaps between the walls quite well, I can imagine.
Yeah. So his 2 steps is far different than some other players' 2 steps. So
exactly.
Yeah. And I'm kind of surprised how dynamically he played. He's a really good static player, but I think he really enjoyed playing solos this time. Typically, it's not his event if you ask him, even though he's good if he wants to try it. But I had a short look at the stream, and I was surprised how active he was, and the game looked really beautiful. Well played.
Yeah, so for our viewers at home, Nick got the solo victory, Tino got second, and Slanesh from Sweden got third. And you guys are playing, so you're playing solos, elimination, and teams this tournament.
Yes, typically at Nationals, those three.
You guys don't play Lord of the Rings in Finland?
That's something that we could have played now when it's Nexus. I think the public opinion is that Lord doesn't really fit with Helios so well. I also think so, especially if you don't adjust the timing so that the living player has a lot of advantage that you get the runs. But this year, I guess it was a choice from the organizer. So I think really it was a good candidate for either to be a fourth event or to cut cascades a bit shorter or something like this.
Okay, yeah, because you guys are such strong pack-on-pack dueling players. I was surprised not to see LOR on the agenda. I was like, oh, are they playing LOR anymore? But it's more of a system-based decision that you guys make. You guys generally don't play it on Helios, but on other systems, yes?
Yeah, and I think and we're playing Nexus now, so it would have been okay. But I think the history of us and LOR was that back in the days we played like the old Australians style, so kind of semi-covering, running fast, roaming around, not so good team play. Maybe you guys had, we didn't, and this really kind of flash roaming mode, and then we went to the States, as you know, in 2003. We brought this kind of movement style of gameplay, dropped the shot rate, and then LOR was a good practice mode and tournament mode to try to become like the US players, to really learn how to use your body, do the clean movements, how to duel, how to play good wall play with that style. And it was really popular back then because it taught us the skills we needed. But I guess nowadays, when the new kids come to the scene, since nearly all of us play so well in the arena with the dueling LOR and movement style of gameplay, it feels like we don't need to practice that separately. It seems like the kids are picking up the skills even in the middle of the arena games. So I guess that's not so popular anymore as side event or as a practice mode.
So for some of the international players, tell us a little bit about the settings that you guys play in Finland, because I know it was interesting. I had a conversation with Moomin recently, and he brought to my attention that nobody in the world actually plays world settings. So down here in Australasia, we tend to categorize anything that's 1 shot per second with stuns as world settings. But the reality is in Europe, there's subtle differences between the settings that you guys play in the different countries. So can you talk to us a little bit about in Finland, how you guys set up your game formats?
Yeah, well, I think you are still on the right track. The differences are really small in my mind between us and Sweden and US. I think you are pretty easily, you can adapt to any of these. But I guess one of the big differences is that historically the Finnish and Swedish arenas don't have had reloads. So we play all our formats basically without reloads. No specific reason why, it's just tradition that came out of this necessity of non-existing reloads. And the shot rate is typically 1 shot per second. In Sweden, they like to play elimination with 1 shot in 2 seconds. That's also fine. It changes the game a bit, how aggressively you can move to the next wall and stuff. But mostly the same, I would still say. And compared to Australia or Australasian rules, we don't allow paneling basically. So you're not allowed to push your chest against the wall and be so close to the wall with the chest, even though with the back nowadays we allow your back panel to touch the wall. I don't personally like it. I like back in the days when we had 10 centimeters rule for both chest and back, that you had to have distance, but that's the current setting. I think personally when I came to Australia or when I play against you guys, the counter paneling, how to kind of find my shots through the paneling that you guys do, and we don't get so much of practice in here to find the shots. That's personally the hardest and biggest difference for me.
Right. I actually noticed that in the stream when I was watching. The way you guys panel is generally arm against the panel, but it kind of works because the baseline is far enough away from the player that they can still, use the panel very well in that way. There's no need for them to really tuck their body right up against the panel. So, it appears that you guys set your arenas up to cater for how you guys play the panels, essentially.
Well, that's true, though it's only the base areas, and we have a lot of these walls where you have a good kind of a thin wall that would be perfect for paneling. But our perception of clean gameplay is that if we would do paneling, the majority would perceive it as unclean. And that's just a cultural difference. I respect the skill it takes, and I respect Australasian format. I love it, but it's super hard with our background to oppose paneling.
Yeah, well, watching the games on the stream, you guys play so clean. I did not see one person get close to covering at all, which was it's clearly a focus that you guys have as part of your playing culture, to keep the arms away from the pack and play as clean as possible, which is awesome. And so in terms of deactivation time and stun time, where do you guys sit in that setting?
I think the most common is probably the world's 7 seconds for the deac, 3 seconds for the stun, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not super good with these settings anymore. I just kind of I play and try to shoot my best up. But I think the range is from 6 to 8 seconds. I think Sweden, at least historically, they tended to play some formats with 6 seconds, which feels fast for us for the deac time, and then sometimes we have used, I think, 8 seconds for elimination, so that would be a bit kind of longer. But I think now we have tried to standardize across the 7. I think kind of how you put the mode in the game server, it's a bit different from system to system, because some West systems have kind of an inbuilt delay that can be close to 1 second. So maybe we put it to 6 seconds if the West does the 1 extra second delay, and we put it to 7 if it's sharp with the West. But I'm not super good with this setting stuff anymore. As said, I focus on the gameplay tactics, trying to keep myself still in the top, which is of course you gain the experience year to year, but the physical side is getting harder when you aim.
Yeah, I was saying to Moomin in a recent interview that I'm finding it I can get around the arena okay in as a 44-year-old, but the timing is starting to get less consistent. I can still get the timing, but not as many, not 99% of the time like it used to be. I can get it like maybe 60 to 80% of the time now, so which makes it difficult to challenge some of the really top guys.
So your Pentium tree has become 3 yeah.
Yes, exactly. It's a bit dated.
Yeah, with a really good hard disk.
A lot of memory.
Yeah.
And tell me about some of your local players. Have you got a lot of new good talent coming through in Finland?
Yeah, we are actually all astonished by the local team. Actually, both of the teams. There is this team called Kylkiväistä, which is the Seinäjoki #1. Really good individuals. They kind of, I don't know if they have played seriously. Some of them, I think 2 of them, 3 of them have played for longer. And then there is 2 sisters who are quite new. I think I saw them first time in the tournament within a year. And they are powerhouse. It's really possible they have a good chance for final. They were the first team to access finals in elimination, and they have a pretty decent chance in the comp as well. Not as good, of course, as the experienced teams, but still really a powerhouse that not many players knew about before this tournament.
So how have they learnt off? Because my understanding is this a new arena that you guys have gone to. This is the first time you've played a Finnish Nationals at this arena.
Yeah, that's true. They rebuilt. We had a tournament in this town, I think in 2017, just before the Worlds, but they had to change the location. The old building was demolished, I guess. So this is first time tournament in this arena. But on the other hand, the site owner is pretty active. She's a player herself, and she likes to organize these members events, bring really a dream site owner for the members, flexible, taking feedback how to rebuild the arena. And her son is one of the kind of employees and a player in the first team, so they have good knowledge how to build an arena and stuff. So they have been organizing these all-you-can-plays or all-nighters in here. And some of the Helsinki players like Heikki, Tuho, and Hacker have been coming over. So they have kind of seen and they have had some model examples what to copy from. But also the players from Seinäjoki that have played for longer, 5 to 6 years at least. So of course they have been kind of coaching their new players as well.
That's so good, so good. And what teams are we looking out for? What are their team names?
Yeah, so Kylkiväistä, which means side dodge, is their #1 team. And now I have to recall, kind of reminisce a bit. What's the other team? Name. There are players like Snaba and Akka playing it, and Jus, I guess, in the second team. I guess you took up the teams list.
I've got it here, so I could see the first one, Kylkiväistä.
It's Minions or...
Oh, Minions. Is that one?
Yeah.
Minions. That's the one. Okay, so Minions, yeah. And then the very difficult to pronounce one that starts with a K.
Yeah, but I actually don't recall what's that name. But Kylkiväistä. You mean
Kylkiväistä. Yeah.
Yeah. But the second team has a couple of really young players. I'm not comfortable enough to guess the ages, because as you know, if I guess totally wrong, it's a sensitive thing, but something like between 12 to 14 years probably. So and they perform really well, of course, kind of mostly in the individual sense, but they are able to hold me and Kuutamo down.
Whoa.
And quite reputable Nexus duelists.
Yes.
And they just take it easy and think like these guys are just kind of, I don't know, Joe six packs. They also eat porridge and sleep. So why couldn't I hold them down?
Yeah.
Respect. Really good stuff.
Well, for any Australasian players, Kuutamo got very deep in lore when he visited Australia. I think it was in 2018. He almost made the final, I think.
I think second and almost won. It was just within a couple of 1 or 2 DX or something.
Oh,
or
so he was in the final.
Yeah, he was.
That's right.
And Kuutamo, he can duel with Helios a lot better than me. I'm just nobody with Helios, to be honest. I suck in Helios dueling, but yeah, still still I got something for the Nexus.
Yeah, so it was. I actually noticed there's a lot of female players in the tournament, and I did see a couple of the younger players running around on the cameras too. So it's great to know that they're actually know their way around a laser tag pack. So they're not just a juniors team running around in there. They're actually pretty skilled and they're holding their own. That's good to see.
Yeah, and before this tournament, we have really strong female players in Helsinki, and we always thought that kind of we probably have the top females in the country easily. But after this tournament, there are quite a kind of good runner-ups and quite on par with this. Of course, their home arena and Nexus, but still really eye-opening to be here.
Yeah, well, when I played Members Night in Helsinki, the female players there were absolutely amazing. Like, I was shocked how good they were. I was like, holy moly,
Yeah.
they are really quick and skilled. So it sounds like they've duplicated. They've got more of them now.
Yeah, and I think kind of one of the strengths of the arenas around the greater Helsinki area is that they are quite hard arenas. I think you played in the easier one in well, not in comp, but at least for the base play. And as you probably know, we play a lot of this Swedish style 3-on-3 around one place, infinite takes. That's our practice mode number one, and it's been used for, I don't know, 15 plus years. And we practice the most in an arena where there are 4 entrances to the base, and kind of it's hard to communicate, hard to keep track, and it's still kind of mixed teams. We always mix up. We just randomize teams, so you cannot always trust the communication. So you need to learn how to predict from which of the 4 entrances, what are the probabilities, where the kind of next opponent comes from. You can put 2 shots in, and you basically need almost to know what's the entrance the player is coming that has the potential to deny you. So the awareness for these kind of tight, pressured situation is really good, and those players kind of from Helsinki, they excel really well. They stay really calm, even with 2 shots in, and really analytical what's happening outside where you don't have visibility.
Wow.
So,
yeah, that makes a lot of sense then.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me, mate, you guys got Cascades 2 to go, and you've got finals tomorrow. Which teams should our viewers be looking out for, in addition to GP, of course?
Yeah, not bro. I think we have 5 other really strong teams. We have, of course, the obvious ones. Legacy, that is well known name. Then Mind the Gap, which kind of consists partly from Jyväskylä players or former Jyväskylä players. Titum, also very known player internationally. December Astma, former GP member, first world champion, Finnish.
Yep.
Then Smeagol, really talented player from Helsinki, and others. So that team, Mind the Gap, Legacy. Then a couple of mixed teams, Savants, which consists partly from Helsinki players, partly from Gothenburg. There are Moomin and Bambi. Heikki Tuho, he has been playing for a long time, but he became a powerhouse like within 2 years, and he is pretty kind of, he has confidence to lead a team if needed, and good I don't know, general team play skills. So I'm actually don't know if he captains the team or Moomin, but however, really good team. Savants, then Kylkiväistö, the Seinäjoki number 1, and then I'm missing a team. So Legacy, Kylkiväistö, Savants, Mind the Gap, and then actually I made a mistake. So Heikki Tuho is playing on a different team than Moomin and Bambi.
Yeah.
So yeah, Heikki Tuho's team, which is Savants and then Eidakin. So it's like Feidakin, but a mixed team. So those teams.
Yeah. Cool. Well, mate,
top three, kind of basically any of these teams.
Yeah. Yes, I was surprised actually. I noticed Mind the Gap had a bit of a slow start, but they came home pretty strong in the Cascades and they've climbed back up to probably their rightful position.
Yeah, well, it's also the team is quite new and kind of they probably have some troubles, but if they play their A game, they can beat anyone. And I don't know, kind of it thought a bit that they might take it a bit easy with the prelims. They went to for a couple of beers in between the games and stuff. So let's see where the actual performance is, and we are much smarter probably after the Cascades too.
Yeah, and just before we finish, are the Cascades new for Finland? How long have you been using the Cascade system for?
Not for long. It's basically an exception here, and the original kind of thought behind that was that do we have enough of teams that it makes sense, and do we have enough of widespread skill gaps? Because if you have kind of if you have cohorts of skill, it might be very hard for the teams that need to face a lot better teams or a lot worse. But I think this tournament, I've been really happy how it plays out. Of course, I'm just an individual. I don't know the general opinion, but I think it turned out maybe to be a bit more positive than we expected, and it's probably definitely going to be used in the future as well. Especially it's quite friendly for the newer teams, so you get in a bit of experience how it's kind of where do you really stand against a better team, but we don't go to the extremes where the worst team meets the best and stuff like this. So yeah.
Yeah, great. Yes, we've we had the same response to it when we first saw it. I think we first started Cascades would have been mid 2000s, and the first time you see it, you go, "This looks a bit strange." But then when you actually experience it, you realise the advantages to, like you said, when you've got those different cohorts, different groupings of teams, the advantages of the inexperienced players getting a lot more games with other teams around their experience level, and then of course all the top level teams getting a lot more games where there's three strong teams in there leading into the finals. I think it makes for a better quality final series as well.
Yeah, and of course we had middle series also before, in between prelims and the finals. Mostly it was an upper and lower bracket, or then three brackets. But the problem there is that sometimes you have a rusty beginning for a very strong team that ends up being in the lower ladder, and then there they crush everybody, and vice versa. Some team can pull out a miracle, they end up for the upper bracket, which they obviously deserve, but they don't learn anything, they get crushed, they get unmotivated. So that's a harsh way to structure it. So I think after this we will use it more and more after the mental resistance has passed.
Yeah. Yep. Well, mate, I could talk to you all day long about all things laser tag.
We didn't so much about these specific nuts, but yeah, definitely the teams to look out. Really good young talent that is genuinely new. New names will be in our minds after this tournament. We will follow completely new kind of players that were maybe on our focus. So really nice to see this, and we have a shiny future. And maybe kind of Helsinki has been a really dominating site in terms of the results, but now we see more and more spread. Tampere had legacy. They also have, for example, Nappula and Pelipate, really talented young lads, maybe 18 years old, roughly. Really good individuals, getting more and more confidence. Then the Seinäjoki people. So we get more and more star material sites, and I'm really happy to see that becomes interesting in the short future.
Yeah, we're all totally cheering for you guys to continue to build your scene. We're all kind of rebuilding after the pandemic, and we hope that you guys continue to do the same.
Yeah, and I always think that kind of in the long run, always kind of you have the old guys that have been running the members nights and tournaments and stuff, but it's also good to have some change because you have growing life commitments elsewhere. You do things left-handedly, and the players don't get the service they deserve. So now we have some changes in terms of our associations and who organizes, and that's positive because I think it's better to have a really motivated, energetic crew than the old lads that have lost their kind of crisp focus and energy. I know you are personally doing really well. You are kind of a Duracell man, but for us casual people, so it's better to kind of hand out the torch for some new guys, and that's been happening now. So really good.
Yeah, absolutely essential to bring through the new blood. Mate, it's been so great chatting to you. Best of luck in the rest of the tournament. Really appreciate you jumping on and spending a little bit of time to educate some players from outside of Finland on the Finland Nationals and all the other things we spoke about. Thanks so much for jumping on.
Yeah, thanks. It was a nice time. This went really fast for me, so it was enjoyable. And time to focus now and kind of put the mind to Cascades 2 and the fight is not over. So
absolutely, got some competition by the sounds of things, mate. Good luck in the rest of the tournament.
Thank you, and looking forward to see you physically, hopefully soon. So either you guys are joining a tournament here, or we might come there. So
yes, please.
For that, yeah,
absolutely, mate. Maybe a bit of both.
Yeah. As you guys say, cheers, mate.
Thank you. Cheers, mate.